What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Don.
And Chrissy.
We here explaining our absence
From YouTube and the world.
We recently been through one of the most terrifying things that can happen to anyone. Like a couple of weeks ago, we couldn't even talk about it, but it feels good to talk about it and to share it with you guys, because we do love doing this, and you know.
So, some of you may know who are actually really close to us, or just word of mouth. On the 4th of July, like early afternoonish, we lost our baby Kaden. He passed away. He passed away in his sleep. Davion found him, actually. He woke up and I was at work, actually, and it's just really crazy because hope they can hear me. I hope it's not really too low. That was like we already had family plans. We already made plans to go to the church. It was like this big church outing, and they had like all these fun things for kids, and it was like baby friendly, and we were going to bring like the blankets and everything, and we already had his outfits. We didn't even know what we were going to wear. We never got around to that. But we made sure he had 2 outfits. We were like, this one right now, just in case it gets cold. Like, he was set. I just seen him that morning before I left. I went to work. I left around like 8:40ish in the morning, and I remember he just woke up like right when I left. I was like, oh, Kaden's up. Like, haha, you about to watch him. He's about to be up and you're tired, whatever. And he just hopped up like how he normally does. He just pops up and he just start his day smiling. Like, he never wakes up crying. Like, so crazy.
He's like, another day.
Yeah, it's like, he like, what we doing today? Like, that's how he popped up.
Let's do this. Daddy, mommy, oh, come on.
Yeah, he was ready for everything.
Pick me up.
But yeah, so even when I got off of work, like, I got calls from Davion, and I thought it was like, normally, you know, he always calls me, or, you know, if he probably missed my call or something, because I call him on my breaks. I thought he would just call to see like, hey, you off? Like, what's going on? So I called all happy and stuff, and I got the call, and when I heard, I was like, what's going on? And I had him on speaker and everything, leaving my job. I was all happy. And even everybody there was like, oh, you get to go see the little baby. Like, everyone knew about my baby. I talked about him a lot. And the way that Davion let out this, like, terrifying, like, it's like, I still remember how it
I had never been through nothing like that. I lost people. I even lost my dad a year and a half ago. But this was like
different.
This was like, this can't be real. This is not real. This is because it's, you know, the parent's supposed to go before the child, and he was only 7 months old, so it's just like, you really left us.
And he was so healthy,
really
so alive. He was such a beautiful spirit, I swear. And I always tell people about him, and it's like, he was really like the perfect baby. Like, he made being a mom so easy and so enjoyable. Like, I love being Kaden's mommy. Like, that was my everything, like everything. But yeah, so do we go into detail too much about everything, or just leave it at that?
I'm just letting the people know.
Yeah, we don't want to go into too much detail about the story, I guess. But I mean, as far as like how the day went, as everything went. But yeah, so it's still kind of, I don't know, some days it feels like it was just yesterday, and some days it feels like it's been forever. Just depending on the day. Some days it's like, it's really hard to even, like, right when I wake up or he wakes up, we just can already feel it, like you just like feel this like strong emotion of like, like, I don't want to say depression, but it feels like this strong sense of like depression, like sadness over you. And then like you don't know what can help it. And then some days we wake up and we're like, all right, what are we going to do today? What type of business are we going to take care of today, to keep moving? Go ahead.
Yeah, just everything we did revolved around Kaden. All our moves, our house, how hard we worked just so we can, you know.
Yeah, and I even, especially for the area we live in, it's so easy to come up. It's so hard to find a good place out here that's in a decent area. And like when you think of like, oh, my kid's growing up, it's like so hard to find a decent area that they don't try to charge an arm and a leg for the area that we're in. We were able to find a good area. It's like around like big nice homes and like right next to the grocery stores and everything. Like it's just an amazing area. And I remember when we first moved in, we drove around. I mean, we drove over here like at night, because I always like to see. I'm always like a strong believer in when you move into it, you should go over there at night as well and see how it is at night, because it's always mostly is differently. But over here it was quiet, it was peaceful. We walked around. We walked around with Kaden, his stroller. Of course, perfect baby, so peaceful. He just was. I don't know if he was asleep or not, but he's always peaceful. So we were just driving around, like walking around with the stroller, just like, and I just kept saying like, I can't wait till Halloween. We get to take him, like he's in a good area to go trick-or-treating. Like that was one of the big things I couldn't wait to do when we moved over here. That was like one of the biggest things, because the area was so nice. And I actually had a baby to take trick-or-treating this year, because I'm all about family. I'm very family oriented in my, like, mentally. So when I had a baby, I already knew, like, I used to always tell him, you're going to have the best childhood, because man, I had everything set to a T. Like every holiday, every birthday, I was already on Pinterest looking for, like, I have kid pages and baby pages, things for kids, like mommy life, like all set. Like I was so ready. So it's just so devastating to know that won't be able to do that with him. This is actually a pretty good day for us right now. As of now, we had a shaky morning. Got in contact with some support people that have been through the same situation, so that was a blessing, because today was one of my days where I was questioning, like, how is this life? Are we really supposed to live this? How do people do this? This shouldn't even be, like, taking babies and kids shouldn't even be an option in, like, this life we live in. And it was just like, how am I supposed to live without my son? It was just so many thoughts going through my mind. And then sure enough, I got a phone call and I was just down. I couldn't even eat. And Davion was like, you should pick it up. And I was like, the number's not saved in my phone. And he was like, it could probably be somebody who could help you right now. And I'm like, who can help me? Like, you know, like, what the heck? And so I picked it up, and it was actually some lady I reached out to. I reached out to a couple people in regards to like support groups and stuff. And she called. And when she just started talking, when she said her name, I automatically knew who she was, because I remember when I did the email, I sent this specific email, I remember her name. And when she started talking, and she just like opened up and she started telling me it happened to her, and it just felt like her words when she was saying like, I know what you've been through and stuff and all that, it was like a weight, like a small weight lifted off of me, because I was like, wow, this is like the first time I've actually got in contact with somebody, like over the phone and everything, who's been through the situation so similar to ours. So that's good to know. And she's like, I'm going to be here for you forever if you guys want to meet up. So like, and she also has other people, she's going to give us more resources for people, other support groups that are monthly and like yearly and international. It's like a really large spectrum that this happens to, kids that pass away due to SIDS. It's just unfortunate that, like she said, that we have to be bonded in this way. Yeah, Kaden was just such a strong spirit. Our spirits were so connected. I would say I'm speaking more so like me as a mom right now. I couldn't wait to be a mommy. My whole pregnancy, I tried to do everything right. I researched everything. I didn't eat certain foods. I didn't do certain things. Like, I I'll go to the doctors and I'll have a list of questions like, can we do this in labor? Can we do this? Can we wait to cut the umbilical cord? Because I heard if you wait to cut it, like the blood, more of the stuff, like the blood and stuff that goes to the baby is better. Can the dad cut the umbilical cord? Because I know they don't do that some places. Like, I was on 1,000 trying to make sure everything was right. So when he passed and I found out that it was the worst day of my entire, this is still the worst days of my life. This is the worst pain I've ever been through. That was like my heart. I spent so much time every day. I've never went a day night out without him. I never went out to the club. I never felt I had to go out with my friends. Every night since Kaden was born, I slept with him. I slept next to him. He was there with me. Like, that was it. Every day. I never went a day without him. So,
and I was just working my ass off.
I was going to say that Davion, my whole pregnancy, I was able to not have to work my whole pregnancy, which was a blessing. And then when I had Kaden, I was freaking out because I'm like, I have to go back to work. I can't leave him. I thought I'll be able to leave him. I can't leave him. And Davion was just like so supportive. He was like, dude, you know, like, take your time. You don't have to rush back to work. I could do it. And even when I found a job, I tried to find a job that would work around his schedule, which is crazy because he works such long hours and it's like late hours and crazy hours. But I was able to find a job that I was able to work only like 4 or 5 hours a day, and it was early, so I was able to be with the baby like basically the rest of the day. So I was only on like 4 or 5 hours out of the day. I was working and I was able to stay with Kaden, and Davion was the one who was basically just working and doing everything for the most part. Like, I was just Kaden. That was everything. And he allowed that. Like, he didn't care. He was like, okay, yeah. And even when there was days when I would have to wake up in the morning and I'll be so sad, like, he'd be like, what's wrong? And I'll be like crying because I'm like, I don't want to leave him. I feel like this is the day I don't want to leave him. And he'd just be like, you could quit. Just quit. It's okay. And I just be like, no, like, I feel like I should be helping at, you know, somewhat. But thankfully I was able to be with him as much as I was able to, because Davion, he pretty much worked and did all that, and that allowed me to be with my baby. That's why I feel like as a mom, I guess that piece of me is like at peace.
And I think when something like this happened, like literally even the first day the coroner took him, it's like, what we do now? What do we do?
Yeah, it was so weird.
Like,
I was like, so Kaden's not here, but we're together.
What
type of life, what do we do now with our life? It was just so weird. Like, they were just like, okay, taking the baby, and we're just like, and then people, like, everyone who pretty, like, we caught a couple people that came, everyone that pretty much after they left, which is okay, like, the type of person I am, I'm like, they know me, they're like, okay, call me if you need anything, blah blah. Once everybody left, it was just like me and Davion, which I wanted, and we were just like, what do we do? And then it was the 4th of July, which made it even worse because everyone's with their families. We see all these people with their babies and their 4th of July outfits that Kaden was supposed to wear, and it was just like the Twilight Zone, and it still feels like the Twilight Zone. It was.
Well, I want to talk about this. What we did was, like, literally the first day they took him, we went out looking for a pastor. Like literally, their heart is like literally ripped out our chest. Like that's all we thought of. We need to find a pastor because this is. We
needed prayer. We don't know what else to do.
We're literally zoned out. Like, we're stuck. Like we're just floating places. Like, what I mean by that is, like, how are we even walking right now? Like, but we found a pastor. That was at this event.
The same place we were supposed to take Kaden, actually, is where we ended up getting led to.
It was like 2,000 people, and out of everybody, it was just like.
And it was so beautiful, and it made me even sadder because I'm like, Kaden would have loved this event. It was so kid friendly, like I expected. Like, he would have so loved it. Kaden would have loved it. Everyone would have loved him because we're yet to go to a place that people didn't say, oh my God, your baby, or try to touch him or try to talk to him, because Kaden was such a ball of light that everyone was drawn to him. Even when I was pregnant, and I'm not even being dramatic, even when I was pregnant, literally so many people came up to me and they were just like, oh my God, you're pregnant. Oh my God, how many months? Oh, like, that was crazy. Like, I've seen people when they're pregnant, people come up to me, but literally everybody was just drawn to me. And that's how I know my baby was like, he was an angel, and he was such a great spirit and so close to God, because even when I was pregnant, people were just drawn to me. So I saw him, even when Kaden was here, everybody wanted to touch him and see him and just, oh my God, he's so cute and he's so precious. And yeah,
like literally, like, you know how you bring a kid around a stranger and they cry because they don't really know, their baby don't know him, so he cried, he want mommy and daddy. Kaden would literally like, he would smile at you. If you would reach your hand out, he'd grab your hand. Like, no, anybody in the, like he was like,
he'll be like
unrealistic. Like, he was just so,
like, he's just
perfect.
such a happy, perfect baby.
Yeah. So it's been a couple of weeks now, and
still really hard.
Yeah, still hard, and we still, you know, talking to people about it.
Like I said, today's an easier day.
I would say for anyone too going through something like this, to get all the talk to people,
specifically try to find people who have been through the situation and been through similar situations, and that are on a higher spiritual level. Because if you come in contact with people who've never really, not to say that, you know, you can't still show love to them, but like in these situations, if you try to get in contact with people who don't know hurt, who've never lost anybody, really close to them, specifically, like, I would say like a parent or a child, specifically try to find someone that lost a child, then they're not going to know how to talk to you. And even people who if you know like they don't really know how to comfort or communicate that well, I would try to say, I would try to refrain from talking to them too deeply about this situation. It's okay to like let them reach out and like say their condolences and stuff, but I would reach out to people who are like on like a spiritual level, like higher, so they can give you the encouraging words. And when you're feeling really down, like I have those people right now in my corner, me and Davion both, that we talk to, that would help us whenever we need something. They talk to Davion as if he's their son, like I'm like close to them, like I'm their daughter. And they could just give us like words to keep moving, and how we have a higher power calling us, and it just gives you like a sense to keep moving, rather than just like, dang man, I don't know what to tell you, or like, dang, like I have no words. Like, it's okay to say that at first, but it's like, if you really have no words, then please just, you know, allow the person to go on to the next person, because that doesn't help them at all. It kind of, sometimes it makes it worse, because it's like, dang, my situation is that bad, really is that bad. Because when they can't help you, it just it's easy for you to get drawn into, be like, oh, maybe I can't be helped, maybe I can't, you know. But that's what I'm saying, just make sure you reach out. There's so many support groups. Even if you could just go online and research it, you could email the people if you don't want to call, because that's how I came in contact with the lady who called today. I was reaching out to like support groups, people who lost infants. And she was one of the people I emailed, and she called me exactly today, a couple hours later. Well, yeah, I reached out this morning, but like literally the same day. And she just stayed on the phone for a while. And she was like, I could just cry now. Like, she's like, it's so raw for you guys right now. It's so new. And it happened to her like a couple like years ago. And we're just happy that we're able to reach out. Even she was saying, she's like, I'm surprised that you're already reaching out, because she was like, for me, I was like in like a coma for like a year, like mentally, like I felt like I wasn't able to, you know, move or anything. She said she didn't start reaching out to people for like a year. So we don't even know where we're getting the strength from, honestly. I guess people's journeys are different, because we have our weak moments, can't even lie, but
we can't even stay in our house. Like, we've been
at everybody else crashing on couches and stuff for like 3
hotels,
weeks.
And we just found the strength to go back home like yesterday or 2 days ago.
Cleaned up, moved everything around.
It was so hard.
Took the baby bed down. Oh my God, he has he has so many clothes, so many this, so many that, and it's just like, so much baby food. Like, I'm telling you, Kaden didn't want for anything. So it's just even crazier to see, like, what did we, you know, it's easy to try to question and be like, what did I do wrong? For me, I was like, did I not do everything right as a mommy? I'm trying to like think back, but I'm like, no, Kaden had the food. I breastfed him. I was still breastfeeding him. He had all the diapers, all this, all the clothes, every time I went out, Kaden got something. Every time we went out, right, Kaden, even if we didn't have that much money, we'd be like, oh, he likes it, you know? Because I feel like as a baby, like, they're innocent. They didn't ask to be here. So you should try to do all you can to make sure that their stay here is the best thing ever for them, because we're all they know. This is all they know. So I just always felt that as a parent, that when you have a child, you need to make sure that they don't want for anything. If you need to go out and ask somebody, like, shoot, go out and get it. Oh, well, your pride needs to be put to the side. And I don't ask people for anything. But when it came to my baby and I needed something, I would definitely be like, so if I couldn't get it, I'm making sure I could find a way to get it, and I don't care. So, but yeah, so resources, that's the main thing. Support groups, therapy, where we've been doing therapy as well. On our relationship, it helps with this as well. So relationship, and then also the situation we're going through. So we're actually mending closer together as a couple, and then also in the grieving process. So we've also been told that, like, this is a situation that even people who are married and stuff, like, they don't last, they get divorced. It's easy for people to play the blame game and be like, well, you were here, well, you weren't here, you know, stuff like that. And like, thankfully, like, we don't let those thoughts like overpower. We pray. We stop and pray. If we feel like the other person is getting too much, sometimes we may need to take a step back. For the most part, we'd be like, let's pray.
I ain't never prayed so much in my life.
Yeah. And it's like, I was even telling Davion before, he didn't know until I didn't tell him until after Kaden passed away, but before I used to go to work and him and Kaden used to be asleep, I used to pray over them. Like, I used to put my hand over them. I used to just pray over them. And they wouldn't even, like, Kaden's baby. But David, I would never know. I would never tell him. I would just pray over them, pray over my relationship, pray over my family.
That's all we ask from people. So if you watching the video, we ask you to pray for us.
Mm-hmm. That's all.
I think all the prayer has been helping us too. Because people go, oh, you guys are strong. We're like, what the hell do you mean?
How is it strong?
Dude, I don't even want to be here right now.
Yeah, I guess just compared to a lot of people, when they see, like, people, they don't change their clothes. They sit in the same spot. Like, people that I've talked to, that lost people to other situations. Like, person I know, they lost their brother to suicide. And she's actually one of my spiritual, like, helpers. Like, she's really good to go to. And she was like, baby girl, you were the strongest woman I've met. And I've met a lot of strong people, and she's really strong herself. And she's like, when I lost my brother, I was on the floor. Like, I didn't move off that floor for weeks. And like, she's like, for you to be even talking and being as positive in the way you going already, and I think that was like the next day or something. She's like, your journey is going to be something crazy. And it's hard to see right now, even for me, because I'm like, how am I even supposed to live life without my baby? Like, I don't know. We were like this. That was my best friend. And I used to always say, how people always say, my kid's my best friend. I used to think that was the corniest ever. But when I had my son, whoa, man, that was a different type of love he showed me. Different type of everything. His spirit was so connected to mine, our souls and everything. That's why when he passed, all my passions, ambitions, I feel like my freaking soul left my body, and I was just like, I didn't know what to do, because I was just so that invested in my son. And like, it's just weird when it's like your whole day is just revolving. I used to come home from work, Kaden, what are we gonna do today? Okay, it's our days, daddy's going to work. Okay, we're gonna spend the whole day together. And he used to see me and just, like, if I used to see him and he see me and I didn't pick him up, then he'll be like, where you going? I'm crying. Like, when he see me, it'll be a wrap. Like, and I couldn't put him down and let him go until the next day. He was just starting to, like, about to crawl.
He was just about to crawl. And it's crazy. He probably was going to walk before he started crawling.
He was doing some walking stuff. Like, he was, like, trying to sit up and stand up, and I'll just let him.
It was the breast milk. Gave him powers.
Yeah.
So freaking smart, man.
So smart. Such a smart baby. He'll wake up in the middle of the night, and instead of crying for his pacifier, we'll look at him. He'll be like this. He'll look for it and put it in his mouth.
Put it in his mouth and be like this.
Play with
Whenever
his
you guys ready to wake up, I'm ready.
Yep. Well, sometimes I'll wake up and I see him right there, and I just act like I don't see him, act like make sure he don't see me, and he'll just be watching his little TV show. We had his baby channel, his little baby channel. It's like pretty much all we really had to watch with the baby channel. We had to record our shows, but he'll just be watching the baby channel, just sitting there playing with his fingers, and then once he sees us though, he roll over and it's a wrap. But until then, he let us sleep. He was such a
Daddy,
peaceful
wake up.
baby.
Daddy, come on, Daddy. Come on, Daddy.
Oh yeah, I'll be playing with him, and then Davion will be knocked out, and then once Kaden see Davion move a little bit, he'd be like, "Stop playing with me." He'd be like,
"Did Daddy wake up?"
And he'll be like,
Daddy wake up?
I'll be like, "He's still asleep, baby." And Kaden just be ready to play with his daddy, or he'll do that creepy look at you. Davion be sleeping, he wake up, and Kaden be like,
I'll be like, whoa.
Kaden just be smiling, laughing, like just
whoa.
smiling at him until he woke up. Like, man, that's a beautiful thing, and that's why also bring me to my next point. It doesn't stop the grieving, but it does help to know that we can have more kids together. We can experience this experience that we were able to experience again. Hopefully God gives us a lifetime this time with our child instead of the 7 months that we were given. That was the most precious 7 months of my life. That was the most precious 7 months of my 28 years living on this earth of my life. So I'm just happy I got that time with him. I was blessed and honored. I even told him that when I finally got to go upstairs to see him, I laid him down, I kissed him, and I was just so calm with him, and I don't even know how. I was just so, and I always think back to Nipsey Hussle's mom, if you guys know her, how she was talking and all that stuff, and I always would say, I wish I'm like half the woman she is. If anything, God forbid, anything happened to this my son way in the future. And when he passed away, I walked in there, I said, "Where's my baby?" And the coroner was like, "He's in there." And I went to him, I picked him up, and I held him. Like, I didn't even care. Like, I just held him, my baby. And for some reason in my mind, I was thinking like a mom. I'm like, I don't want him to be scared. I don't want him to be nervous. Even though I know, like, you know, his spirit and everything is like left the body or whatever. But I'm just like, I just was like, I was so happy to be your mommy. You did nothing wrong. You were the perfect baby. It was a privilege. It was an honor. That's how I talked to my baby. My last words to him. I kissed every part of his body, and I was like, "Oh, my little feet." I used to love his little feet, his little butt, man. And he was even looking like he was smiling. Like, Kaden looked like he was asleep. His face was so peaceful, and that's how I feel like as a mom, he didn't suffer, because his face, he looked so peaceful. Like, he looked like he was still sleeping. Now I'm like, Kaden, even now you still perfect? Even now you perfect still? He was even perfect then. Like, oh my gosh. Like, and that's why I was able to put my the what is he called? The coroner. He was really sweet. He was a really nice guy. And he even said, I think he's seen how strong I was and everything, and I was holding my baby how I was, and he said, "Did you want to put him in the bag?" And I put my own baby in the bag before they took him. I said yes. I would have carried him out if they allowed me to. Like, that's how connected I was to my baby to the last drop. And I'm so happy I saved everything I saved. I literally was a mom who saved everything. When Kaden's hair was growing weird, I cut it, I saved it. When he got his shots, I saved his band-aids. When he first started eating solids, I cleaned out the jar, I saved it. I'm trying to think of what else I saved. All his medical stuff from when he was born, I saved all that. His first everything, even to the last. Even when Kaden, to the last day, when his nose was like creating weird stuff, I wiped that, and I still have that, and I saved it too. That's why when I tell you I saved everything, I think it's in there still. When I saved everything of Kaden, I saved everything. And it's crazy because I thought I was saving and doing the pictures and the videos and stuff. I thought I was doing all this stuff to show Kaden one day. I wanted to be like, if God forbid anything ever happened to me, Davion could show him, our brothers, anybody could show him, be like, your mom, she really loved you. Because I didn't have my mom growing up like that. I didn't have her. She wasn't around. I had a stepmom, but, I didn't have my biological, physical mom there with me. So I always wanted to give that to my child. So that's why I wanted all that. What are you looking at? And that's why I thought I was saving all this for Kaden, but I was actually saving it all for, I guess, myself. So now I have all his, we have all his stuff. But yeah, like I said, we're happy that we also have the ability to have children, because there's a lot of people out there who don't have kids. So that's also a blessing to have, because a lot of people that we speak to, they all say, don't they all say like, oh yeah, we have like 2 kids now and stuff like that. So
we just pretty much wanted to talk to you guys, letting you guys know that, you know, we will be back. You know, just gonna, you know, take a little bit of time, you know, because we love doing the YouTube thing, but we just haven't been, you know, excited, or, you know, that happy, you know.
Man, we haven't had any energy to do any of this. We barely have energy to get up and live this life that we call life. Like, it's already hard to get up and say, oh, what we gotta do today? Like, the only reason why I do that, because I feel like I have to get up, because I feel like it's a strong, weird emotion over me if I just sit in the house all day and don't do anything, or sit in the dark.
I feel like I have to get up, because if I sit there too long, I can't do this. I can try to sit there long enough, but then I'm gonna have to use the bathroom, and I can try to sit there, but then my stomach can start hurting, and then I gotta eat, you know.
Yeah, I just feel like I need to get up, because I just like, I can't sit here because I'm thinking too much about my baby, and I'm thinking too much about the good times, the bad times, and I'm gonna be in a dark hole. I can't just, I have to get out and go do something.
And we also thinking, you know, Kaden wouldn't want us to feel like this, you know.
Which makes it even worse when we do have those days, because I'm like, Kaden is in the beautiful, the most magnificent place ever. Like,
that's another thing. Like, even like sometimes when people argue, Kaden will sit there and look at y'all like, why y'all arguing?
Or when kids
like,
be yelling and stuff at places, he look at the kids like,
why y'all crying?
Why y'all crying for?
What you even crying for?
Yeah, like, he was such an angel. Like, he was really an angel. That's why I'm like, he's definitely up there with God. So his life is beautiful right now. So that's why I'm just like, I know Kaden's in such an amazing place, different from this hell that we live on. But I was willing to to protect him and give him an amazing life. And I couldn't wait to mold him into an amazing man. Like, so.
Yeah, anyways. So YouTube, you know, we will there we go.
Still we will be back eventually.
Yeah. With some kind of content of some sort. We see how we feeling. Damn, my ear is ringing right now. That's weird.
Yeah, so, and I also started my solo channel to do like the girl videos and stuff that I know Davion didn't really want to do.
I'll start mine soon, you know, when I get my mind right. I'll you know, do some basketball reactions, some sports, some gaming, you know, things that I like to do. I'll show y'all, you know, some music I got, you know. That's what I think I want to do too. I've been wanting to do music. I got some stuff to let out. No holding back too.
So yeah, our baby's gone. It's really weird knowing that he's gonna be gone forever. And you can't come back. Everybody know you can't come back from death. It's the one thing you can't come back from. So it just sucks that it wasn't like, oh, it's a scare. Like, he had a scare, you know, they took him to the doctor, he's gonna be okay. Any of that, we didn't even get a chance to experience a scare. It just was the first time. Kaden never got sick. He never got like hurt like that. Like, he never bled or anything. So it's just weird. The first time he ever, like, anything ever happens to him, he passes. It was so weird, because I'm like, he never bled. Anything never happened to me. He never got like a bruise or anything. He never got sick. Like, so it's just so weird that the first thing that happens to our baby is just like, oh, he's gone. He actually, unfortunately, he did pass away. Like, what? We didn't even get a cold. We didn't even get to experience, oh, he got a bruise. Oh, any of that stuff. So, yeah, so we're going to cut the video, I guess. Just wanted to touch on why we've been gone, and better to let people know what's going on the larger scale than individually having to write it out or something somewhere, because didn't want to do that. So
we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with the rest of our day, you know?
Our life. But I guess we start day by day, or minute by minute, second by second.
Every day is different, yo. Every day is different. And then every night is different too.
The nights are the worst because every night I breastfed him to sleep like he was by me. He slept on me every night. I was never fully ever asleep because I feel him eating, and if I don't, I wake up. Like, that's why it's so hard to sleep at night, because I never really slept at night. So yeah, so pray for us. If you want to do anything for us, pray for us. Prayer is always needed. That's pretty much the only thing I feel like will really get us through this. Prayer and support groups, and people who've been through the same thing as us, and people who have super deep inspirational words for us.
If you see this video and you can give us some other advice on, you know, how to deal with this, comment down below. We'd love to read it, and we'll we'll reply to it too. So, all right, you guys, it's your boy Don
and Chrissy.
We'll be back. More videos.